So after doing all the other interior work, I've got some cloth left over, and I don't like how hard this is. It doesn't have any type of padding, so I decided I'm gonna make a custom cover for the console cover to make it match the sun visors. I went and picked up some of this foam. It's 1 inch thick. Wait, 1 or 2 inch? No, this is 1 inch thick, high density foam. I got it from Joann's, the same place I got the fabric from. It's 20 a yard, but you literally, I measured this and it was 6 3/4 by 13 1/2 ish. So you literally only need 14 inches by 7 inches. And I got this cut out to 9 inches. Well, this is the full length of the roll. I got this cut to 9 inches, so I would have enough extra on each side to wrap it up and have it come right there to the corners. So first thing I'm gonna do is take this apart so I can get just that back plate by itself. And it's looking, when it's in the car, there'll be 2 screws here, but since it's already out of the car, it's just gonna be 1, 2, 6 screws to take out. So 6 screws taken out, and it looks like this. It looks like there was some type of glue from the factory to hold on this plastic piece. And I do, so without all the screws, it's hard to do with one hand, but basically just go around and pry it out. So we got it all nice and separated. So it's not glue, it's almost like a putty that they put in here, I guess to keep the gap. It's on the front and the back side, but it does stick to this, it's attached. So you have to peel the entire thing up to get it to separate. It was pretty tough. You can see it's got indents at the screw holes in these 4 corners. So start at those screw holes, dig it in, and that's the best way to not scratch it like I did there and over here. What I'm gonna do next is spray this entire thing with Super 77. I'll probably grab a soapy rag and clean it off first. I mean, I did clean it in the car, but it's been traveling here and then it's still dirty, so the Super 77 will stick better if it's clean. I'm gonna spray this foam pad down the middle with Super 77, and then I'll stick it down a little bit towards the right side, probably about 1 inch hanging off the side, enough to, I want it to be able to peel up and line up basically flat with that edge. So I want to have enough to wrap it past the edge, kind of like this, and then I'm gonna trim it flush with the edge. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this little section that's gonna be left, but you know, maybe make another project someday. I sprayed a layer of the fabric, or the foam, excuse me, and I sprayed around the edges, but it seems like the edges didn't take so well. So it's flat on the bottom and it's looking good right now. So one thing that might be helpful here would be some small clamps, or maybe a vise. A vise might do the job too. The bottom, the backside is stuck really good and really easy, but getting this foam to mold over these corners, pretty difficult. Because the next step is to cut around here with, just gonna use a razor blade. It's not gonna be a perfect cut, but it will be covered with cloth, so you won't see it. I'm gonna cut around to make it even, and then I'm gonna lay some more fabric over it. So what I'm gonna do next is a layer on the fabric down there, and a layer over the outside of this. I'm gonna set it down flat, and I'm gonna try to line it up with the middle of this pattern going right down the center. Do it towards the front, and because I'm going to pull the fabric tight and the fabric will hold it to it, it won't be an issue. I think I'm gonna start with both front corners, the front and the back, like that, and then from this corner I fold it up and over like this. Probably have to do a second fold right here, and then straight down the side. And I'm gonna wanna, you see how it pulls it in tight there? I'm gonna wanna pull it as tight as possible all the way around. And once I do that and I stick it down, it should hold the foam tight too. It should clamp this foam down almost like this. But my suggestion, if you're watching this before you do it, if you're gonna do it in the same order as me, just spray these two sides and don't even bother spraying the edges for right now. I sprayed it all because I figured I could work it quickly, but this is all dry now. I notched the corners, basically cut it flat and then cut straight out from it so that I can fold these corners over, get a nice seam there on the edges, and try not to overlap too much fabric because I want this to sit in there. One side done, and I just sprayed the glue on the second side. One thing I wanted to add is make sure you got enough extra on the sides to be able to reach it to the actual plastic part and not the rubber part, because since it's glued down on the corners, it's good, you can glue it to the rubber, but on this part it actually just pulls that rubber up and it won't sit. So if you want it to be tight, you need to stretch it straight to the plastic on the inside. I'm having to notch out this so it sits flat, but that's just because this is actually dropped down just a little bit and it kind of fits. With the whole thing tucked up and around, I'm just gonna set this plate on here, try to line it up, and it doesn't quite fit in because of the fabric. So I'm gonna try to line up these back two holes first because I can see those the best. Screw it down and it should pull in a little bit. And once I can get the back two holes and these front two holes in, I'll just screw it down and it'll pull itself into place. It'll stay there. The hard part is just gonna be getting the holes to line back up, right? So guys, this is the finished product, and I gotta say, I am more than happy with how this thing came out. It looks great. It's sturdy, and it is soft. Like, look at this. Way better than that hard plastic that it had on there before. And it is flush and nice and flat, and I'm confident that when I put it back on the center console, it'll still sit flat, which is what I wanted. All you gotta do is go slow and make sure you pull it tight when you're doing these edges. It's gotta be pulled tight, or otherwise, you know, it's gonna be bowed out in places. If you look kind of like right here, this is pulled just a little bit less tight than over here. So you see it kind of pushes out right there too. It kind of gives you like a little waviness. And if you pull it completely tight, it comes out straight like that. This is pulled tight, and then, you know, kind of lost it there a little bit. But as you follow the corners and the edges, like this corner up here, it gets easier or harder. And depending on how you cut your foam behind it, that can show too. There was a little ridge in my foam under here, and you can kind of feel it. Can't really see it, definitely can't see it from the top. And I mean, when you're opening that console lid, you're not gonna feel that. So I'm completely happy with this.